I got the creepy crawlies, right? And it's interesting because a lot of times those people would be the ones that immediately would reach their hand out to me and say, my name's Bill. What's your name or whatever? And try to fucking touch me. And I'm like, I know this energy game. Do not fucking touch me. And so, like, I am a big believer that if you have those vibes about someone, don't touch them because to me, like that is a gateway into your energetic space.
Yeah,
and it's
directly, because it's
very
physical,
hard to shake. Yeah.
for sure.
And so I'm not saying that these creepers are reaching out, going, sucking my energy out,
Right.
but that's what it feels like to me, where I
Right.
touch them and I feel this thing in my core that's like, and then I can't shake it. So then I'm like pissed off.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of your favorite podcast and ours. I'm
Indecent
Steven.
Disclosure.
And we're Indecent Disclosure. That's Holly. I'm Holly.
I'm Steven.
I always fuck this part up. I don't know what happens at first. I'm like, I just stumble and struggle, but by the end of it, it's generally pretty smooth and we've gotten good feedback. So we're just going to keep doing what we do.
It's cute, boo.
We're coming off a pretty hot weekend, getting back into the rhythm of things. Been on the move pretty hard, which is always nice and exciting. But sometimes you're just like, I'm fucking exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
I want to relax, lay down, but we still got a bunch of work that we're constantly doing.
Vacationing and partying is really hard work.
It's a rough
I'm
fucking
honestly,
life, guys.
like really exhausted.
I know. Poor me. I vacation and party and travel so hard.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of wild though. Like when I think a lot of people probably expect from our social media that we just are constantly fucking vacationing and partying. And it's like, wow, you guys just like don't, I mean, like, look, we're not trust fund kids. Like, no.
We work hard too.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's the thing. So we'll go do this stuff and be gone for 4 days and then like come home and immediately, like this morning, we drove up from Phoenix after like a 4-day vacation. We left at like 7 a.m. this morning, got back and immediately hit the grind and we're like going and going. And
yeah.
now
Woke
it's
up
8 o'clock
super
at
early
night
for
and
a decent
yeah.
little car ride and then are just immediately going to work the second we get back, literally. And then, yeah, it's already 12 hours later and we're still sitting here talking to you. So how do we do it, you may ask? We have no fucking clue.
Lots and lots of cocaine every day.
No,
just inject it into my veins.
It's
first thing I do when I wake up.
There's a level of commitment and priority that you have towards these things to keep them going strong. And it's definitely not always easy. Like traveling's work. Anybody that travels, I'm sure would know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth it. Like, and the work, you know, that you got to put in to pay for it is a lot. But yeah, at the end of the day, if it's what you want, you prioritize that, like it's all good.
Other thing on that note is that we definitely take care of ourselves. Like we eat well and take all our vitamins. Yeah. And like this morning, the first thing I did when I got home was like spray this like antiviral like herb spray that I have that's like really fucking intense, but like super, I can't even use my words. Super like efficient, I guess. It works super well. Effective. Thank you. I am exhausted. But yeah, we just take care of ourselves. So like we might be going and going, but we also know that means we have to like drink extra water, extra electrolytes, like take our routines pretty seriously when we're not in the routine.
You're really good about keeping up with that stuff. I feel like I can fall out of it very easy. Like when I travel or like my environment changes, I'm usually the first to be like, well, I'm just going to feel this environment. And then I end up getting all fucked up.
Well, I mean, I still like am pretty go with the flow, but yeah, there are certain things like I definitely bring up my supplements that I know are
Right.
necessary. I
Electrolyte
bring,
water, that's a
yeah,
necessary on traveling.
bring my Chinese herbs and my hormonal stuff. And it's funny, I can like hear too in my voice. I have like post party voice.
Oh, we're coming off a weekend. It
I'm like
was
2 octaves
insane.
deeper.
So, and that's funny you say that because I felt that way all day today. Even with like talking to clients on the phone, I'm like, I feel like my voice sounds like gnarly. Like
Yeah,
we weren't at
because
like some big raging concert screaming our asses off. I'm sure we did a little bit, and we definitely sang a lot of songs together.
yeah,
But
I was gonna say we pretty much were though.
yeah, no, that's true. It it changes you.
It changes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're good at partying. That's never been in question here. But I'm fucking stoked on it. I feel good. Like other than being really tired right now, I feel good. I did forget my weed in the other room, so that's like weighing on me right now. Feeling really depressed. Do you ever do you ever feel like no you don't cuz you don't really smoke weed, but I definitely have an issue with like being such a stoner that I like forget to smoke weed. I know that's like an
And then you get in the middle of
oxymoron.
something and you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot to prepare for this.
Yeah, for real. I'm
No, I
like,
get that.
oh, I'm like
I
looking
get that
forward
for
to it
sure.
for something and then I just totally forget and I'm like, no, damn it.
No, that makes a lot of
What the
sense.
hell? So true. So, yeah, something I really appreciate though about the particular group of friends we were with this weekend and in particular my best friend there, Michaela, that her and I like had a really great talk about and then Steven and I got to have a nice long drunk talk about it too is it's really cool when you get to be friends with people for a long time. You know, as you get older, obviously, you kind of weed out who your friends are going to remain, who's going to remain your
Yeah.
friends and who's like your longtime people. And you know, Michaela and I have known each other since we were like 12. So we've been in each other's lives a long time and there are definitely times where I apologize, like, man, how did you used to put up with me? And she's like, it's not that I ever had to put up with you. Like, I was in the same boat of just, you know, emotional immaturity or,
Everybody's always going through their own shit.
yeah,
We
yeah,
focus on ourselves more internally than we do, I think, on other people. We're able to see other
absolutely.
people and be like, yeah, that's no big deal. But with us, we're like, that's a big deal. How did you
Right.
deal with that?
And I'm an overthinker. So, like, there are behaviors that occurred literally 10, 12 years ago in our friend group that I think about. And I'm like, I still to this day feel ashamed or humiliated that I behaved that way. Whether it was just like, you know, back in the day, like getting coked out and having a panic attack and like getting in a fight with my friend, one of the girls, like things like that, where I was just kind of a mess for a while there, like in college mostly. And I feel like a totally different person now. So when I think back on those things, I'm like, oh, yikes. But,
I think
that's just the
everybody kind
way
of
life
experiences that
goes.
growing up, and you find out who you're in alignment with and who you're not. And sometimes those things play into it. But only if they're like long term and you're not trying to like correct yourself or your
Yeah.
behavior or become a better person. Because everybody has to figure out who they are and who they want to be and what they want to do and how they want to act and what best serves them. And I think our friend group and people we choose to surround ourselves with are always actively doing that. And I think
Mm.
we're kind of just more critical towards ourselves about like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I acted like that when everybody else was like, I literally didn't even notice, like it wasn't a thing.
Right.
You know, I feel like you have to kind of be a bad person for people to say really to other people, like, I can't believe she acted that way, you know?
Or you're all really good people. And so it's very surprising when someone acts that way.
Right.
And then it is like, I can't believe that. Like, truly, I'm
Yeah.
surprised, you
I feel
know?
like that's when you just give people the benefit of the doubt though and just say like, you know, they just let go once or this happened and it's whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
never really a big deal when you got good people to support you and like be there for you because they know, you know, how that can be.
That's the beautiful thing about it. Like, that's definitely my gratitude point for this week is just feeling really grateful to watch even Steven and I like grow together so much. Like if we actually try to flash our memories before my eyes, I think about just how much emotional and all kinds of growth we've had. And I feel the same way about my friends. So it's really beautiful watching them and feeling embraced by them and like being able to talk about literally anything and not feel attacked or like we can't move past it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're right. Absolutely. And I got to change or, so.
Yeah, that's a huge part of personal growth and development that will project you to where you want to go is having those people around you and having them treat those situations in that way. Because I feel like as you get older, you're better about like partying and putting yourself out there and not being a piece of shit or fully letting yourself go. And every now and then somebody does, and it's just like not a big deal. Like I'm always like, fuck, what did I say yesterday? Or like, what did I do? Because I know I was on one, but everybody else was too. And like, unless you're a bad person.
Our friend Jason was like, I don't really like black out. Like Steven and I think both don't really black out. Like I think we can brown out a little bit, but it's really like for me, I think it's always like really at the end of the night when I should have gone to bed a couple hours ago and I'm just powering through to not be, because I'm an 8 o'clock girl. I literally do my 8 o'clock shoulder dive. I gotta like find a place to rest my head and I'm out. So for me to stay up, we didn't even stay up that late. I didn't. I was asleep by 11 or 12 every night, which is pretty regular for me. But by that time, I start to get the loopies where like I think I'm just delusional, and that combined with being drunk or high or whatever, or all of it, the crossfade of it all just puts me in a silly ass place. And
that's my zone.
Right? It's fun. My friend Jason was saying like that I was the first night just trying to like get all deep and have this conversation with him, and that I just started essentially speaking gibberish, and he just stopped, like looked at me and was like, Holly, what are you talking about? And I asked him the next day, like, what was I talking about? He goes, I still have no idea. And he was like pretty sober the whole time, and so he was like, I truly wanted to be there in your mindset with you because you were so into it. But I have no idea what you were talking about. You were just fully in gibberish mode, like speaking about one thing a little bit here. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's exactly what I'm referring to is like we can all put ourselves out there and get to that place, but everybody's like, yeah, I was fucking right there too.
Yeah. And I felt like safe enough to do that. And I felt supported, and it was really fun. Granted,
I couldn't have told you any of the things that I was talking about with other people, and it was probably somewhat deep, or maybe it was just all over the place too, but
I just know we had a good ass time. I actually do remember all the talks that I don't remember that talk with Jason, but I remember everything else.
I get pretty good and
you get mushy.
Liquored up. I do.
You're very
I
like
get emotional.
The one that goes around to everyone like, I love you, man.
I start crying and giving everybody hugs.
You were crying?
I did on the last night when everybody was out on the back patio in front of the ocean. It's all beautiful and all our friends are out there having fun.
When we were dancing together and stuff?
Yeah. And Michaela and Jason were out there with the baby, and I'm like, look at what we're doing. Like, look at what you guys are doing for your kid and the setting that, we're holding down.
Oh, yeah. In case we didn't mention it, we never mentioned it. We rented a big old beach house in Oceanside, California with our friends this last weekend for Michaela's 30th birthday.
Yeah, it was really nice. And like you said, it's nice to see us personally grow and start developing ourselves and see how we can actually be adults and have fun, but also work really hard. I was just like, I was just really on one, but we definitely handled our liquor really well. Everybody did this weekend.
Yeah,
there was a lot of a lot of booze there.
We don't need to discuss
I
the
don't
amount
want to
that was
say
drank.
how much
Yeah,
actually
it's
don't, 'cause
terrifying.
it's that much.
It's
But
terrifying.
props to us for holding it down as hard as we did.
Yeah,
But
no, that's the nice thing is like there isn't a fear about traveling with, with good friends because you don't have to worry about drama or shit going down. It's like, man, if that was still occurring in our friend groups, I would either cut them off or cut the particular person off by being like,
exactly.
I'm sick of your shit. Like, we're adults, grow up. I
Right.
don't want to hang out with a friend group that is you're continually nervous to like say the wrong thing, or you go, oh, this person's probably going to lose their shit at some point, or,
Right.
be a fucking bitch. Whatever.
Yeah. No, that was the time of my life. It's just crazy to me because we're coming off the Kauai trip, go to San Diego like that, and then this weekend we have to travel for a relative's graduation. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's definitely worth it. Like putting
It's
in the
great
work
though.
and
It's like
getting
all
what we
winter.
get out of it.
Yeah. We were just fucking trapped in that wasteland I was talking about. So I'm like, look, I might be tired. I'm down to party. I'm down to travel. I'm down to have a good time. So send it all to me. Baby.
I like that contrast that we have that we do really well with too, where when we're at home, we're really into being home and not like itching too hard to get out because we do travel with a healthy balance and do travel a healthy amount. So
yeah,
that's always nice because when you're ready to get home after like a long period of traveling or traveling intermittently, but like
right.
consistently, when you finally rest and relax back at home, you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't really classify us as like the hermit types. Like we're both very social.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have jobs that require us to be around people all day. So I definitely noticed that like a whole month can go by and we really haven't like hung out with friends or done social things. Like we're just with family pretty regularly, which I guess is social.
Right.
But you work with your family, so like you're like
That's different.
I've been with my family all week, and then like you have your clients, I have my clients, and then we just when we're home, it's like let's just stay home.
I definitely have hermit tendencies, and then I would say I'm probably more of an introvert than an extrovert. Just because of how much like I am in my head and how much I do really internalize and think about things before I put myself out there. But I've definitely become more extroverted, at least comfortably, in my older years where like I feel okay being out in social settings and I don't really overthink conversations and stuff or how did I act or what did I do. Now I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's go for it.
I think that after a long time of, observing people in life, like I find the psychology of human beings to be very interesting. And I really enjoy like practicing observance of people in daily life.
Paying attention.
And yeah, something I've noticed with myself and you and a lot of other people is that I think that whole introvert extrovert thing is really not as cut and dry, black and white as we make it. Like,
yeah, that polarizes two different sides.
Right. I think we always have this thing of like, oh, there's such an extrovert, which means that you're just social and happy and like a go-getter and you're always chatting people up. And the introvert is withdrawn from society and they just want to stay home and play video games. They're like the indoor kid. That's the way I feel that teachers and stuff portrayed introvert versus extrovert.
The
indoor
connotation
kid
is almost kind of harsh. Like introverts are like, like
fucking
a
nerds
darker internal,
or some
like
shit.
more reserved kind of thing when they have just as much going on as any extrovert does. It's
and
just how they choose to share themselves.
Right. And like, I think really more than anything, we're all like a combination for the most part.
Yeah.
Like I would say most extroverts are actually introverts because they are continually aware of the way that they're behaving in the world and they need their alone time. So here's the, maybe not most, I shouldn't say
get
that, but
that.
like for me, in order for me to be extroverted, I have to be an introvert most of the time. Like I don't share I share my feelings a lot, yes, but I am really particular in who I share myself with. So my friends get a fucking earful all the time. Poor babies. But like people that I'm just acquaintances with, or maybe I don't fully like grasp who they are yet or whatever,
Yeah.
I can be really surface. I don't want to say surface level, but I'm careful about what I share
Right. She's
in
kind of
certain
shy to open
regards.
up.
Well, and it's not even like personal stuff. It's more that I have a wall up with like not exposing my feelings and being extremely vulnerable all the time.
Yeah.
So it's on an energetic level for me more than
Right.
anything. It's less like I'm like, I don't have secrets. It's more about my energy and sharing that with folks.
Yeah.
And I need my alone time a lot to recharge. I don't want to, like, I have people all the time. You want to go work out? Like, let's go work out. That's a big thing. If you ever need a workout buddy, I appreciate it. But honestly, I like to be alone when I exercise, when I do yoga, when I go in the woods. I don't really want to go hike with other people for fun. And that's what I do for a living. So I'm like, so pretty much I'm going to just train you for free.
I think that's definitely just us
But,
knowing
yeah.
ourselves and how we act in those situations, because there's definitely a couple people that I feel like don't need to rest and relax or have any reservation with themselves, and they're just full blown out there,
Yeah.
which I love. I love that. But, you know, I love a good introvert just as much as I do an extrovert, because same thing. I like the sociology behind it.
Oh, yeah, and the psychology and
Yeah.
yeah. But you're right, sociology plays into it too because we're talking about, you know, how people interact with others in the community and stuff. And it is muy interesante, mi bebe. Yeah, and I also just really enjoy, like, I know I already said observing people's behaviors, but that is something of a big fascination
People
to
watching's
me.
fun. And it's cool if you know a little bit more about them too, because then you see more at play. But I definitely get that. I enjoy a good person watch.
And even
Sitch.
when it's like close to you, not just like through a window, but like when you're in, you know what I mean? You're in a room with someone and you're
Especially
just
when they don't know that you're there.
when you're in the closet and you're just watching
Looking
them
through
with,
the louvered
yeah,
doors and you can
right.
hear them. And you have to
Yeah.
really be careful about how loud you're breathing because they
Mhm.
might hear you.
Hiding behind a
That's by
curtain.
far my favorite.
That's my favorite
Or
too.
under the bed. I'm usually too big to fit under the bed though, so I got to go for the
I
closet.
just like seeing more than their feet, you know?
I
I
like
want to
seeing
like
their
see
feet.
full view.
Right.
You have a foot fetish?
No,
Oh.
that was actually a joke. The rest wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, when you're in a room partying with people, even, I love just watching the way people interact with others. And I feel like I have held on to that empath. I am an extreme empath, but like, you know, when you're on shrooms and there's that very special ability when you're on mushrooms to see right through people's like ego.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, like you can actually
Yeah.
watch in a bar. This person that I don't know, you can watch strangers, is interacting with this person as if they're like so, yeah, like so full of themselves, so sure of themselves, so cool and sleek, but you can like see right through them
Motive.
that really, yeah, you can see everyone's motives and you can, you can see everyone's motives and you can also like feel their heart like so purely.
Yeah.
Where you see if people you see kind of people's true colors and you don't even have to know them at all. And I don't think that it's actually just like an observation in our mind when we're on mushrooms. Like that's a huge
No,
part
I think that's a real thing. And for anybody who's ever experienced the, you know,
psilocybin.
yeah. I think they understand the depth that it kind of takes you and how it's not really a surface thing or, oh, your mind's just playing tricks
Right.
on you. Like,
Psilocybin's a major heart opener
yeah,
and a third eye opener because really it does connect you to your higher self and allow you to see more than you would normally see.
yeah,
So I feel like I've held on to that ability.
absolutely. I feel like once you open those doors, you can kind of access that resource when you need to if you're in tune with yourself.
Right. And we
I've
were,
I've definitely kept that with me from all my experiences because I want to have that, that openness and opportunity to expand myself without necessarily having to do those things. And I think you can
yeah.
very much so keep that with you. But you are very much an empath where you can feel people for sure.
Yeah, weren't we talking this weekend about how too that when I feel look, I'm not the end all be all decider of who's good and who's bad or what the fuck ever, but I have a pretty good reader on people and it took a lot of me getting fucked over in life and then taking shrooms a couple hundred times to just be able to have a
That's
better
the recipe.
Yep, I have a much better reading on folks. So then there's been quite a few times where like our friends are like, "You are so judgmental." I'm like, "I'm not fucking judgmental. I'm discerning and
Yeah.
intuitive." And you could maybe confuse the two sometimes. I have a tendency to be kind of harsh, but I always am open to people changing my mind and making me trust them and feel good about them. But there's times when I just feel someone's energy and they look, I'm not saying like I'm afraid people are going to steal our money or like, I don't know, try to fuck you, Steven, or whatever.
Right.
It's just there's something off about their vibration that I don't align with. And I'm like, I don't have to know what that is. I just have to be aware that I don't align with that person. And I need to preserve my being while around them.
Right. And I think you definitely need to hold that feeling in because your intuition is like always follow your gut, trust your instincts, but also give that person the benefit of the doubt and the opportunity to change over a long period of
Mm-hmm.
time or to blossom in front of you so that you can see that they're a good person or harmless. Because I definitely do that too, where I'm like, I don't know about this. And
Right.
after enough time, I'm like, how did I ever doubt? But some people do prove you right too. I feel like it's definitely just a preservation mechanism and kind of a survival instinct to like, have that gut feeling and trust it. But then also let yourself learn if you're not correct and or if you are, and either way, start to discern even more and even better in the
Mm-hmm.
future. Like that's definitely a big skill and talent of yours.
Well, thanks, babe. That's very true. I mean, the whole thing you just said is very true. And also that I'm skilled.
Yeah, I'm so good.
But you're the same way. I think you have a tendency to be more open to people.
Mhm.
Like it's funny because I'm such a loving person, but I think when I'm the only one who can see within myself, right? And from my own mind. So I know that inside I have a tendency to be very friendly to people and loving, and it's genuine. But I'm also like, bitch, I protect my energy. Like, I am highly susceptible to succubuses, and I'm not about to fucking let you do that to me. And
Right.
there is a such thing as an emotional vampire and an energetic vampire, and I
Yeah,
see them
absolutely.
all the time. And I can see them from fucking walking toward me, where I'm like, oh God, protect yourself. I have to put my shield around me, my
Yep.
bubble, and then while they're talking to me, there are times seriously I feel so energetically disturbed by a person that they'll just want to keep chatting, whatever. And I'm like, how can I get the fuck away? Like, that's how much I can feel it sometimes. It's wild. Like, I feel that I can't even be within the vicinity of them without feeling anxious.
So, in the kind of tool and mechanism that I've created for that is somewhat of like, yeah, my own kind of energetic force field and barrier where I allow them in so far so that they're comfortable and I am opening myself up to them, but so they can't access any part of me that is going to have me be vulnerable to a point where
Mm,
I could be potentially damaged by them or that interaction. So it's
I
like
love
I can
that.
kind of let them in and let them flow within a certain level until I know that they're comfortable there, and I can let them in further and further and
Mm,
further until I'm, fully open with somebody. Or sometimes I never get that far and I
right.
just know who that person is based on their actions and words, and then I just keep them at that level. But even then, I know not to allow them to, or I know not to allow myself to be more open than that with them, because yeah,
Right.
you can have people just drain you, or they're having a conversation that you don't agree with, but you don't want to disturb them and like their kind of feelings towards the situation because you don't totally agree. So you're like, yeah, totally. Like I 100% get that, and it's hard too because a lot of the times you'll want to say like, no, I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong or something, but you also don't want that conflict and confrontation, or to have like, yeah, that become like a toxic thing between you. So
Hmm.
there's definitely like a lot of mediating that you have to do, especially as an empath, because
I
it's a
know.
real thing. It's definitely a real thing.
Right. And yeah, thanks for validating that because I think like it can sound really like woo woo to say stuff like this because, while I do, um,
Practice woo
I do a little bit. I
woo.
mean, I'm not trying to put, I'm not trying to make like this sound as if, it's some fucking Netflix show where there's like vampires out to get us. This isn't some Grove shit, okay? But I do believe that, so like, I don't think people are conscious necessarily a lot of times in their like energy succubus behavior, but they're like doing it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to the point where even working at the bar, for so many years, like I would have certain people that I instantly felt this like repulsion toward. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't say anything wrong. I just immediately like crawling. I got the creepy crawlies, right? And it's interesting because a lot of times those people would be the ones that immediately would reach their hand out to me and say, "My name's Bill. What's your name?" or whatever, and try to fucking touch me. And I'm like, I know this energy game. Do not fucking touch me. And so, like, I am a big believer that if you have those vibes about someone, don't touch them because to me, like that is a gateway into your energetic space.
Yeah,
And it's
directly because it's
very hard
physical
to shake. Yeah.
for sure.
And so I'm not saying that these creepers are reaching out, going, sucking my energy out, but that's what it feels like to me, where I touch them and I feel this thing in my core that's like, and then I can't shake it. So then I'm like pissed off. And I obviously I'm an adult, like I have to shake these feelings off. But you guys, if anyone out there feels what I'm saying, like this is not a psyche thing, this is an energy thing. Like I will then have it. It's almost like I literally have been given their foul, stinking attitude or like behave. Like I could feel them radiating in me. It's fucking weird. I
I
know that
totally
sounds
get that.
crazy, but yeah, there were certain people that I would straight up say, like, they'd stick their hands out and try to shake my hand, and I'd say, I would either ignore it and just go, "What can I get you?" Or, like, "Sorry, I don't touch other people."
Mommy told me don't shake hands with strangers.
Yeah, I would just straight up tell, and they're like, "What do you mean you don't touch people?" I'm like, "I don't feel the need to shake your hand. Thank you, but no thank you. You chose to stick your hand out. I chose not
Yeah.
to."
Well, that's very, very much so related to you reading the air and the environment and just making sure that you're comfortable in that environment. There's no reason that you should ever be made uncomfortable in an environment like that, or in general, because for a lot of people, I think that happens probably somewhat often. And if they don't know how to kind of protect their energetic field, it can be a real problem, you know?
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like we are so caught up in being polite all the time. Like I think especially if you have a career where you have to be like at the hem of others, giving them whatever they want, and it like a service industry job. They have control over you. You have to be fucking nice, you know? But like
Yeah.
there's also such thing as standing your ground and being firm. And I got myself in trouble quite a few times, you know, with like I would blow up when people cross the line with me. I definitely had to take a step back and be like, holy shit, you need to behave a little better. But I also think it's good to just, yeah, stand firm. And like, you don't have to be polite all the time because you're afraid of what someone's going to say.
Yeah. Don't let somebody interact with you in a way that makes you uncomfortable because it's the polite thing to do.
Right. Like, I know I can be real bitchy. I get that. I've understood that my whole life. I have what did my mom call it the other day? It was actually, she said something like, you are a dragon, like believed that to be a lizard kind of thing or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
Where it was like, or you're a lizard with the tongue of a dragon.
Huh.
Something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
someone else will
There's
know if
probably a
that's a
couple there
saying.
that
Yeah,
we could pull out.
yeah, she's like, that's just who you are. Like, you have so much to offer with your energy. You have such a big energy that if you feel stifled in any way, you lash out, and it's fucking harsh. Like, my own mom the other day was like, there have been times where you come at me with like something you say, and I like cower, where I'm like, whoa, Jesus. Like, and she's like, not that I'm afraid you're gonna hurt me, but like, it can be hurtful sometimes because you have such a sharp tongue and you're so direct that like your energy feels that it's taking up the whole room. I pictured like fucking Ursula from um
Little Mermaid.
yeah, when she said that, which I don't enjoy. I don't want to be Ursula, but she's like, sometimes just if you're not in a like really high space with your energy or someone pisses you off, like you control the energy of the room. So it can be quite terrifying if you're pissed off because you come down on everyone, not only with yourself, but this cloud of you. I was like, holy shit. I could actually know exactly what you're talking about. Like when she said that, which, yeah, that's real. But,
Yeah, the energy thing goes two ways. You got to watch how you have your energy put out there as well, because even if you might not know it, like some of those people might have been innocent and might not have known that they were stepping over a certain comfort zone that you had.
oh yeah, I have
So
mean ass face. I'm
it
sure. Have
definitely
you
goes
ever
two
seen
ways.
it at me? Have you ever seen me do that, like at the bar or whatever?
I've seen some people act a certain way towards you at the bar when I was sitting down, but
Like, have you ever seen me
it's
do
where
that
they've
sharp tongue
said
shit?
enough that I would have stood up and defended you
Okay.
if you wouldn't have said something yourself. But I've never stood up at the bar when you were working and interrupted or any act or made myself known when I'm sitting there, because I'm there as a patron just having a coffee or a beer or whatever, and you're there working, so it's like I don't cross that line. If
Yeah,
there's
that
an
was
issue,
appropriate
I
of
would
you.
always defend you. If it was like a physical thing and security wasn't there or something, sure. But yeah, I would always just kind of chuckle like, all right, bud. Good luck with this one. You might be barking up the wrong tree, but I'm sure you've found a couple wrong trees to bark up in your lifetime. So I'm going to
Yeah.
let this one run, and hopefully you learn this time.
I
But
was just curious. Like, I think you have seen me
there was a
get in
couple
that
times,
sharp
but never
ass.
like you were ever directly inappropriate and like aggressive or angry with somebody before they made before they took the first step at making you feel uncomfortable or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's real easy to have somebody else like just throw off your whole day and like you feel like you can't shake it,
Right.
and then you're just kind of off a little bit, or like an interaction that gives you a feeling in your stomach that like leaves you feeling not good all day. Like
Mm.
nobody wants that.
Feels like you've come into contact with it like a serial killer or some shit.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, you
kind of
just got
what
to
it
be
feels like
careful
to me.
about how you project your energy too, and then, The world will go
Yeah.
around and we'll all be happy people
That
and
is
sing
something I'm
happy
learning.
songs and
Yeah.
hold hands and
That's a big part of my growth. And I feel like that's a
yeah,
big part of growing up in general is learning how to harness your energy and not let it affect everyone around you and also not absorb everyone else's.
absolutely.
Can I tell you though a quick anecdote about the bar and just one time in particular I remember. I wasn't even like that mean and I wouldn't say I got myself in trouble all the time. Like I wouldn't just start screaming at people. Like that's not really me. It's more that I quietly say things and look at you like you better not fuck with me. And when there's a certain look that people give, like I must have gotten it from my fucking mother. I'm sure I got it from my mother, where you don't have to like get physical at all. It's just scary. And maybe I'm in my head that I actually give that look. But um I remember there were these fucking doucho like frat boys in there one day and they were like, 30 something, but they were still wearing all their frat clothes and were like, yeah, they even said, we're all frat brothers from back in the day. They were probably maybe 30. So they're in there at like 2:30 taking shots. There's like 8 of them. That's fine, but already my coworker and I were like, "Oh my god," the second they walked in the door, like this is not the kind of people we want to be hanging out with in here. And so they're just of course being obnoxious, being fucking loud, and they kept asking me about my back tattoo. And I was like trying to clean and get shit done behind the bar, but mainly I just didn't want to talk to them. And I just said, it's the Kundalini energy. It represents the Kundalini energy. And I'm not about to sit and explain all 50 reasons why I get it, right? So this guy goes, what's the Kundalini energy? And I was like, oh, it's kind of hard to explain. And he's like, you don't want to, he goes, I asked you a question. You're supposed to be nice to me. You have no one else at the bar. You're not going to even tell me what it is. So he's like commanding my attention because they were the only ones in the bar. And I just said, why don't you Google it? He goes, are you fucking kidding me? And then he turns to his friends and is like, did you just hear this bitch said that? Like, she just told me to Google it. And he's like, do you always talk to your customers that way? And I said, you know what? I didn't. Oh my God, I just love it. Sorry. I have to just tell this because it was like, this is a great example.
Yeah, no, this is a perfect example.
So, yeah, he goes, do you just tell everyone who asks about your tattoo to Google it? And I was like, I didn't ask you why you're a fucking douchebag, right? But you are. Here you are being a fucking douchebag. So, just because someone asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it or that you aren't who you are. Like, get the fuck out. I was so angry, but I said it very like without yelling, just, I didn't ask you why you're a fucking douchebag, did I? But here you are. And then I just stared him dead in the eyes, like a foot away from him. And they all left.
Yeah.
And I was like, great job.
It's a lot to deal with, especially in the service industry when you have to constantly be around other people who can affect you and affect your energy like that. Because there's some unpleasant people out there. Like
yeah, and like to call me
way
a fucking
more common
bitch
when you're in the service industry too.
Oh my God.
Which is something people shouldn't have to deal with, but unfortunately that's just the reality. So
and I chose that industry. Like I loved it. I love that industry. Bartending is something really dear to my heart. And a big part of it is like not letting people like that get to you. And then you have days where they fucking get to you.
Yeah, of
and
course.
You just can't
well, and that's everybody.
Yeah.
In any situation, like event. And that's just knowing like how you need to interact with people outside of yourself if your energy is restored. Like I know people who are like, yeah, I got to go work in 2 hours and I have to take a nap before I go and kind of reset and prepare myself for going and putting myself in that setting because it's really easy to have other people affect you. And if you're not prepared and you don't have your kind of energetic force field up, it can toss you for a loop. And that's when like crazy things happen or bad things happen. And you're like, I was so pissed off. And then I was
Right.
walking down these stairs and I wasn't paying attention. I tripped over a box and fell down these stairs. You know, it just kind
Yeah.
of snowballs like that. So,
It's like you
yeah,
have to.
protect yourself.
I think I was telling Evan yesterday that it's there's a Janae Aiko song, I think, called Protect Your Energy. And it's really beautiful. It's like a mantra. And she just
That's
sings.
super cool. Right in line. Like,
Yeah.
if that's not a punchline, I don't know what is.
I know. I just fucking love it. I also, though, am confused because I think she has one she sings, but then also Princess Nokia has a rap mainly where she like raps over and over again, like protect your energy, protect your energy. And she's talking about witchy stuff too. So they both have like
That's
both
cool.
these songs. I know they both have them, but I can't remember if they both use that
That's a
exact
good
line.
reference. I was thinking about another song earlier when we were talking about this, and I don't know who sings it, but it's that song, I Don't Fuck With You.
I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, no, that's another good one because it just made me think of like people you don't want to fuck with and you just know it. You're like, nah, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
Logic, one of my favorite rappers, has consistently said that in interviews because he's kind of like I guess what you would call an introvert and kind of a homebody or a recluse, or at least that's what people from the outside have kind of called him over time because he doesn't really go out. You don't see him in public a lot. Like he just recently too has gotten married and had a kid and called out his retire from rapping because
His
he just wanted,
retirement.
his retirement. Thank you.
Yeah.
From rapping because he just wanted to be a homebody and focus on his own life. But he's said in interviews consistently, like, I don't fuck with nobody because he just doesn't want that, you know, coming to him, especially being in his position where people are judging him or questioning him or sticking stuff in his face. And, you know, he's just figured out that's what works for him and what he has to do. And so in the midst of even fame and, you know, being on top of the rap game, he's like, nah, I don't fuck with nobody. And in fact, I'm out. I got my fill. I had my fix. I don't need none of this.
Such a cool guy. I wish we could be friends with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I've gotten my 2 cents in.
You know, I got my 2 cents in too, and I think I rambled quite a bit as well there. I'm clearly very tired and delusional, but
we're coming off a hot streak. So
we're coming off a hot streak,
don't
but we're
go
still
judging us.
We're not on a low streak though, or a cold streak.
Right?
We're
No,
still,
it's hot streak. We're just coming back to take that nap before we go back out and hit it again. That's all.
It's hot streak season, baby.
Hot streak season. Damn, that's
hot
a
girl
new one.
Summer.
Hot girl summer. Hot streak season.
We need to make some merch that says that.
Hot streak season.
And people are going to be like, that's dumb.
No, we'll make some merch that says your favorite podcast and ours too. And then it'll have a decent disclosure under it.
Right. If anyone wants to hook us up with some merch shops, let's do it. Let's do it, yo. Well, babe, I just want to take this time to thank you for being the fucking life of the party all the time. Moondog.
That shit was fun. That shit was fun. That was so good.
You're my moondog.
We got pretty ridiculous out there and had a great time. So we're definitely still recouping and resting up. But luckily, we have a great home to come home to and a great podcast to put on. It's always enjoyable. Always a blast to be with you guys.
Yeah, we love each other so much. Oh, and we love you too, listeners. And we love our fur babies. They make life a lot easier.
We're just shouting out things that we love now.
I love lamp.
All right, guys. Before this gets any weirder, we're going to let you know you can find us at Indecent Disclosure Podcast on Instagram. I am at Stephen of Flagstaff.
I am at Holly White Health.
And in the meantime, if you need anything, just, you know, holler at your peeps. Let us know.
Laters.
Adios. 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 Adios.